Hello.
Hello, everybody. Now, it's a little bit of an impromptu drop in today because I wanted to record a podcast episode with the lovely Deirdre Helmig, and she is a quiz funnel specialist. But I thought while we were recording this podcast, wouldn't it be fun if we just streamed it into our little Facebook community and you guys could learn a thing or two about putting together a quiz funnel inside of your Kajabi business. So hello, lovely Deirdre. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah. Hi, Meg. Thanks for having me.
Now, obviously, I know quite a lot about you because you are one of our amazing graduates from the Heart Centered Apprentice program. And you joined us now a couple of years ago. You decided you were going to be a Kajabi specialist, and then you found this passion for quiz funnels, which I like to think, by the way, that I had something to do with. But for those people who have never met you, can you tell us a little bit about, who you are and what it is that you do these days?
Yeah, absolutely. I joined, I first got to know Meg because I bought one of her templates, as is like the gateway drug to Meg, buying a template and then just like going all in. So I bought a template because I was going to start build my own online course. And then I really fell in love with Meg and Kajabi and everything. So then I did everything to do with Kajabi, and then decided I wanted to really go all in with Kajabi and became an HCA. And one of the modules that we had to do with HCA was to build a quiz funnel. And I went like all in with this homework assignment. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just put something like together just to pass the assignment. I was like, I'm going to build the best quiz ever, and I'm going to launch it, and I'm going to build my email list with it. And it was a really great quiz. I loved it and people loved it, but it did nothing for my business. Like, it just wasn't a quiz that was actually going to help my business. So I was like, oh, it's more than just the tech behind the quiz. Like, there's more to it than just like building the funnel. There's all the strategy behind it, and you have to know how to build the right kind of quiz and bring the right kind of people into your quiz and all that. So then I really took a deep dive into quizzes and just like fell in love with quizzes. And so that's my specialty when it comes to Kajabi. And now I teach people how to build quizzes, and I do one-on-one quiz strategy sessions and intensives. And that's what my whole business is now, is all about quizzes. So it's been a journey, and Meg's been with me the whole way. So yeah, I feel like
it is such a shame that first quiz that you built didn't do amazing things for your business, because that quiz was beautiful, Dee. Like, I still remember it. And you opt in for the quiz and you got sent this like personalized Spotify playlist, and it was just like so well thought out. So we'll get to it in a minute, but I am curious to hear like what makes for a good quiz versus a bad quiz.
Right.
But for people who are like just getting started, who are thinking, well, like, I need a freebie in my business, perhaps a quiz could be, something a bit different to like a checklist or a ebook or like all the other things. Like, what are the different ways that a quiz could be used in someone's business?
So, I mean, of course, as a freebie, that's the very obvious way that you use a quiz. And it's great because if you do it right, if you don't do it the way I did it, you bring in the right people, right? You bring in the people that are actually going to go on this journey with you to become buyers. And the way you do that is by having the right quiz topic and segmenting them the right way that is going to really show them what kind of a solution you have to their pain points, or how you can fill a need for them in that sort of way. And then by communicating to them based on their specific needs, because you can segment them and that sort of thing. But then there's all sorts of other ways that you can use a quiz. You can use a quiz right in your program, sort of setting them up for success, maybe in your course or in your membership, or whether you've got a summit or a bundle or something like that. Or you can use a quiz right before you launch. So then you're really focusing them directly into that launch funnel. There's just so many ways, so many cool ways you can use a quiz beyond just being a lead magnet, even though the lead magnet is very much the obvious way. You can also use a quiz to do research. In your quiz questions, you can have a few questions just to gather information about your audience, which is so useful. So there's so many great ways that you can use a quiz, which as I learned more and more about it, my brain was just like, oh my God, there's so many great possibilities. So
Now,
yeah.
after your first quiz didn't work so well, have you since worked with any businesses that have used a quiz as a lead magnet, as a freebie, where it's just gone like gangbusters and you've been able to pinpoint what made the quiz work so well?
Yeah, I've had some that, like, I've got one client in particular who we set up a quiz for her, and it was just a general lead magnet, brought lots of people in. And then when she launched her membership, probably maybe 4 or 5 months later, she had a relaunch of her membership. And she said the vast majority of people that joined her membership the next time she launched came from the quiz. And so she was just so excited to see that it was such a driver of people coming from the quiz into the membership. And the way that her membership was set up, the results were all really pinpointing issues or pain points, I guess, that people were she gave them small solutions in the quiz, but really drove the fact home that within her membership, they were really going to focus on every single one of the pain points that were addressed in the quiz. So she knew that then the quiz was just really a home run. And then I've also done e-commerce quizzes where people were given a result in the quiz that then they were recommended specific products that the e-commerce shop sold. And so then it was just, and then what we would send them would be a coupon for those products. And it was just such a no-brainer for people then to be like, oh, that's exactly what I should buy. And here's a coupon. So it just made it so easy for people then to know exactly what they should buy based on their quiz. And then a coupon would show up in their inbox. So it was just, such a nice way.
I mean, even for course creators, right? Like so many of us are just diehard creators. Like we just keep churning out courses and things. And then we're just like, oh my goodness, we got like all this stuff that we can offer. And people get to our website and they're like, oh, I don't know where to start because there's like so many options. But if you put a quiz in front of somebody and then, make sure the questions lead them to the right destination, then that would be an easy way for people to just figure out by themselves which one of the courses they should buy.
Absolutely. No, it's so great, especially if you've got a course that's like kind of more of a beginner type course versus a course that's maybe more advanced, or a course for a certain type of audience as opposed to a different type of audience. Like there's so many different ways that, somebody shows up on your website and they're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do first. Then a quiz, because instead of getting on a call with somebody, just let the quiz ask the questions, and then you've got them on your email list and you're saving yourself time. Why wouldn't you choose that, right?
Let's talk about getting them on the email list. Like with your quizzes, do you ask for an email address up front before they can take the quiz, or is this something that you collect from them after the quiz? And how do you like put that all together so that they give you an email address that isn't a bogus email address, and that it doesn't become a barrier to them taking the quiz in the first place?
Yeah, so I don't typically recommend that you ask for the email address up front. The only person that I've seen be successful with that is Denise Duffield-Thomas. And that's because she's got such a huge audience already. And everybody knows that if she's presenting a quiz, then it's going to be amazing and that it's going to lead to. And her quiz is like 60 questions long, and
I never made it to the ND. I got like 3/4 of the way through and I was like, how many more questions? So I never got to the end of Denise Duffield-Thomas's quiz, but I'm sure it was amazing.
It was amazing. But that's definitely going to be a barrier. Like if I have a quiz, if I'm going to do a quiz and they ask for my email address up front, I'm like, no, bye-bye. But then, so some people ask for the opt-in right as soon as you take the last question, which I'm also not a fan of, because I think you will often have people say, no, I don't want to give you my email address because I don't know what I'm going to get out of it yet. Like you haven't promised me anything good yet. And you're right that people might just give kind of their spam address. Like this is the address that I give when I don't want to ever open these emails anyways. And what I really like doing, this is my favorite way to do it, to get a higher quality email, is to give them the kind of what I call is a teaser result. So you give them their result, but just a sentence or two about it. So your quiz result is whatever, like one sentence, maybe a little tiny blurb about it, maybe a quote, and then give them information that will entice them to give you their email address. So to find out more about this, or to find out what the challenges are, and really entice them, like give them more information to entice them, but then say, this is what you're going to get when you give me your email address. And then they'll give you their email address, and then you give them the full report about what their results mean. And I find that that's a good balance, because then they know what they're going to get. And some people are like, oh, I'm happy to know that whatever, my quiz result means I'm a butterfly. I don't know, whatever it is, right? But if they really want to know, well, what does it mean that I'm a butterfly? Because what does it mean if you're a butterfly? I don't know. but that's a good balance. But then another way you can do it is you can give them the full quiz result and then have them opt in for something else. So you give them the full quiz report, and then say, if you want to opt in to get my free mini course, or my checklist, or whatever it is, then
join the upcoming live webinar where we dive into this deeper.
Yes, exactly. And that opt-in could be the same for everybody, regardless of the result, or it could be something different for everybody's, like a different webinar for everybody's results. So yeah, so those are my two favorite options. The second option of my two favorites is you're going to get an even a stronger email list, but less people will be opting in. So depending on what your goals are, you would probably choose one over the other.
Absolutely. I love it. Talk to me about design and like aesthetics, and like, does a quiz have to be super beautiful? And could we set it up with Kajabi, using like Kajabi assessments, and not have to go and get like third-party software? Like what would be your preference?
So the design is important. It's not that it has to be super beautiful, but I think it has to, you want your quiz design to be enough that people are really engaged with it. That maybe the images or even the GIFs, whatever you want to use,
I don't know, I'm wrong.
Yeah, are really, because you can use them for your based on the questions or the answers, that they're really kind of pulling people in there, that they're like, oh yeah, that picture is really making me feel the emotion behind that question, or behind each of those answers. So I think that images are really important. And you want it to be consistent with the rest of your branding, of course, so that it really looks like yours, that it doesn't look like you've just pulled some random quiz off of the shelf, which some people do. And as far as using Kajabi's assessments, you can do a quiz using Kajabi's assessments, because the thing with Kajabi's assessments is you just don't have, it's not quite so much about the design. It's more about the ability to really have an overall result that is accurate, that gives you the accurate, what am I trying to say? With a Kajabi assessment, you can basically have a really good one question quiz. Sure, you can put lots of questions in there, but your overall result will really be based on one question, because it just doesn't have the ability to take a bunch of questions and figure out all, with the tagging, it can't figure out all of the results of a bunch of questions and put it all together in one result, in one overall result. So I would stick to a third-party platform. It's just Kajabi's assessments just aren't built to do a good quiz. So
I guess so many people, I mean, the Kajabi assessments are great for like pass fail, right wrong style of questions. And so many people in this industry want to have like a personality style question, or like, this is where you fit in the world. Like, here is your
Yeah.
full report. And it's just not really built for that.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask as my next question? I had an idea for something, completely forgot. Oh yeah, software. So what is your favorite software tool for setting up a quiz? And do we have options, or is there just one
Yeah.
main?
Oh, there's lots of options. And I've tried lots of them. I can't say I've tried all of them because there's always new ones popping up. But my favorite is still Interact. Like, it's the one that you introduced me to it. It's the first one I ever used, and it's still my favorite one. It's super duper easy to use. Like, I don't think I've ever watched a tutorial. It's just so easy. It's just so intuitive. So that's number one. Their customer service is great. Like, it's just so good. And they do have lots of training and tutorials and stuff if you need it. I know that a lot of my students have used it. And it used to be the cheapest. It's not anymore, but
It used to be free. Oh, gone are the days of free.
I know they used to have a great free version, but they don't anymore. I don't know if anybody does anymore, but they're really not that much more expensive than most of the other ones. And they have great analytics. I love their analytics, which is really, really important when it comes to a quiz. And their analytics are really easy to use and to read and then to use in order to optimize your quiz, which is really important. So Interact all the way for me.
What kind of analytics can you get from it?
So the analytics that you want to use, first of all, is to look at how many people have viewed your quiz, have viewed the front page and then have started your quiz. And if a lot of people are viewing your quiz and then not starting, then you want to do something with changing the title of your quiz, and you can put in kind of a description, so the promise of your quiz. So you can really easily change that if you don't have enough people starting your quiz. And then the other analytic you want to look at is how many people have started your quiz but not finished it. And so if you've got a lot of people not finishing your quiz, then you can actually go in. If you've got the more advanced version of Interact, you can go in and see where people are actually dropping off in your quiz. So at what question? And so if you're finding that the majority of people are dropping off at a certain question, then you know that that's the question that's causing friction. So you can look at it and go, oh, is that question, I don't know, is it too long? Is it confusing? Is it really negative? Like, what's going on with that question? So it's kind of interesting to be able to look at the questions and see where people are dropping off. And then you can just fix that particular question. And then you can also see how many people have finished your quiz and then how many people have actually opted in. So you can do that right in Interact if you're getting your opt-ins in Interact. And if, like a lot of my clients, you're getting your opt-ins done in Kajabi, then you just have to compare your number of people that are finishing your quiz to your opt-ins in Kajabi, and then you can see if there's something that needs to be fixed in there. So so it's really quite handy to have those analytics, because then you can really easily tweak things. Like, it's not like you have to start from the drawing board again. You can just go in and optimize things bit by bit. So
I love it. Would you always write like based on the result they get, do they get tailored email sequences for their result time?
Yes and no. Like, yes, they're tailored, but they're tailored a little bit. Like, I'm not writing a giant, like, start to finish tailored sequence, right? Because that's just too much work. Like, we just
I guess you could ask ChatGPT to do it. If Gail's listening, she's like, oh, ChatGPT, what's it called? ChatGPT will do it for you.
Yeah, I know. But so maybe if I could get that underway, then yes. But no, for the most part, like, when I'm teaching my course, I give, and also in one of my quiz success kit, I have an email sequence template, and I think it has 5 emails in it, 5 or 6.
Mhm.
And 3 of the emails are customized based on the result, and the others aren't. But even within those customized ones, there's only maybe 3 paragraphs that are customized and the rest aren't, because they don't have to be, right? Like, you don't have
Like,
to.
don't overthink it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for one thing, they don't know unless they're doing the quiz like over and over and over again and purposely getting different results, which if they are, then it's fine. I don't care if they know that I'm reusing content. I'm fine with that. But then for the other thing, I'm changing the part that's important. Like, I am making sure that it's customized where it's important. I'm yeah, just like you said, don't overthink it. I'm making sure that they are getting the relevant part that is customized. So yeah.
What would you say is one of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to build out a quiz funnel, other than overthinking it? I mean, would one of the mistakes be that people try and like get married before they date?
Yes, I think so. I think, and if you mean by jumping into it before, like, that's the big mistake that I made, is I was like, I just want it to look lovely and I want it to be like
Oh,
really
well,
fun and everything. And
sorry,
I,
I should explain better. But like, I'm more thinking that somebody does their quiz and then they immediately ask that person to marry them with like a big paid offer, and like, please give me all your money, when
yeah.
probably the person's not ready for that.
Yes, yeah, so the way I put that is that a quiz is a conversation starter, and it's not your chance to like then immediately pitch. So yeah, it's a quiz is a great way to start the journey. Like, your quiz is where you kind of, I always think of it too as like, because I'm a hiker, and so I think of it as like the trailhead. And that's kind of the beginning of the journey. So, and it's a great trailhead, right? Because you're really getting to know the people. You're getting to know your quiz takers because you're asking them questions. And so then, since you know more about them, then that journey can be even better. And so, no, you absolutely don't want to have the conversation start like, oh, hey, let me get to know you a little bit and then buy all my stuff, right? Like maybe if you've got I don't know, like a mini offer or something like that, or just a low priced product, then sure, you might want to pitch that at the end of your email sequence, but you're not going to have them take a quiz and then expect that they're going to buy a $3,000 product or something. So yeah, that is definitely mistakes. Yeah.
And one last question for you, I think.
Okay.
What about like trends and innovations in the quiz world? Like, is there anything cool happening that you see? It's like things have moved a long way from the kind of quiz that you used to see, which was like, which like celebrity personality are you? Or like, which dog breed are you most like? Like, what's happening these days in the world of quizzes?
Yeah. Sorry, got an alarm going off. I think one of the trends that I'm enjoying seeing are quizzes like right inside programs. So it's not necessarily a quiz that you'll use for as a lead magnet. I mean, although it can be used, you can use it double duty. But so a quiz right inside a program will be used for anything from, so say it's in a course. And so somebody joins your course and then you give them a quiz to kind of assess where they are maybe, and tell them, give them like a very specific success path. So you've taken your quiz, this is how you should do my course. Like, this is the order in which you should do it, or this is where you should get started. Or I had one client, and her course was on home renovations. She's an interior designer and she was doing a course on home renovations. And so she did a quiz, and it was what was the exact title? Something like what's your home design style, or something like that. And so then they did that quiz, and then they went through the entire course based on the fact that, oh, they like a modern aesthetic, or they like farm style aesthetic or something like that. So then they would do each particular part of the course based on their style. So I think that's really interesting to kind of have a quiz right inside of a course or inside of a membership or something. So then people get a more personalized course experience. I think that's really cool. A lot of work, because then you need to provide this personalized experience, but just a lot more of an engaged way for people to learn. I think that's really neat.
I like it. It's like helping people pick their own or create their own success path that then they can follow through the course without getting completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. Because how many times have you taken a course and you're like, oh, I didn't really need to sit through that whole module. I already knew it, or that didn't apply to me, or something like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, for those who are listening, who are thinking, I reckon I could learn a bit more from Deirdre, there's a couple of ways that they could go about it. Now, obviously, you do help people build out their own quiz funnels. So if someone's interested in having you do it for them, Dee, like where do they go? And I can put a link below this episode.
Yeah, so they can head over to my website, www.deidrehelmig.com, and hit the work with me link. And that's where they can find out all my information about my 3 different services. And then I've also got my Quiz Genius course will be launching again this fall. So they can hit the Quiz Genius link there and sign up for the waiting list. And yeah, and then of course, on the Hero Collective, they can learn too. So you can probably tell a little bit more about that, Meg.
I can. So once upon a time, guys, I created an A to Z of Kajabi. And then over the years, I've realized that some people do certain bits better than me. Deirdre is one of those people, like when it comes to quiz funnels, she is just way better at teaching it than I am. So what I've done with my new program, which is called the Hero Collective, and it's like an A to Z of Kajabi training, is I've actually got some guest modules in there. And one of those modules is a complete end-to-end of building out your quiz funnel using Kajabi and Interact. So exactly how you plan out your questions and work out the correlations and the strategy behind it, and like all the full setup, like bit by bit by bit. So if you guys would like access to that training from Dee, I am going to put a link below this episode, and you guys are welcome to grab 7 days free access to that, which is all the time that you will need to go over there and work your way through that module and set up that quiz. So I hope that will help you guys. If you've listened to this and you've thought, yes, I would like to create a quiz in my business, then you absolutely need to go and have a listen to that quiz module from Dee. And thank you so much, Dee, for recording it for us, because it's amazing.
Absolutely. It was super fun. Thanks for asking.
Now, the other thing I want to point out, Dee, actually, before you go, like that is like, I think, a pretty cool opportunity for us to collaborate that only came about really because you were inside of the Heart-Centered Apprentice program, which is this program that Kimmy and I have created for people who are looking to either become Kajabi specialists or take their Kajabi specialist business to like new heights. So lots of cool opportunities that open up inside of the program, like this one, where all of a sudden you're like the guru inside of my program, which is like a cool offshoot, I think, from the HCA program.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny how you go into one thing thinking, oh, I'm just going to take a course on Kajabi to start my own online course about safety consulting, which was like in my past life. Look at us.
I still remember the GIF or GIF or whatever you call it, where you were like, burn the boats. And I was like, what's that mean? Like burn the boats. And you had to like explain it to me. I was like, I never heard that before, but I love it. Burn the boats.
And I did.
So guys, if you happen to be listening to this and you're thinking, I reckon I could put my Kajabi skills to good use, and build a Kajabi specialist business where maybe at some point you go off to specialize in something like quizzes or Claire and gamification, or, we've got Stephanie who does Google Analytics. There's lots of people specializing in lots of things, but applications are open currently for the Heart-Centered Apprentice, guys. So I'll stick a link to that below as well. And you never know, if you want to have a chat with either me or with Dee about what it's like inside of the HCA program, please feel free to reach out. But thank you so much, Dee, for coming in here and giving us like a little bit of a look, an insight into what goes into making the perfect quiz funnel. And I'm so glad that, you know, the teacher has become the student and that you have taken this role. And now I can be like, oh, I know the best quiz funnel specialist out there, and it's Deirdre Helmick. So thank you, Dee. I think you're amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you for everything, Meg. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't met you. Like
Ah,
or safety manuals.
yes, death by safety. Goodness no. All right. Well, I will chat to you again soon. And thank you so much for coming on.
All right, thanks, Meg. Bye, everybody.